How do you use AI on a warehouse appropriately? There are so many approaches, so many ways of doing this, and so many outcomes that you should be hoping for. I'm going to be speaking about this through the lens of marketing, sales, operations, and overall utility of data. This is not for people who are building applications on top of data. That is a whole different discipline, a whole different method. This is for nimbleness, speed, as well as idea to insight action. My name is JJ. I'm the founder here at Vision Labs, where we help teams enable their speed using data. I'm talking speed to insight, speed to action, speed to strategy around using their data to grow. So let's just hop into it. I'm going to run through the really hacky way of doing this. This is the way that you can see if you're a solo person, if you're a one-person team, this is probably how you should approach it. What you can do is simply have a platform, say for example, Meta Ads or Google Ads or your CRM or your website data. All of these different things are platforms. You can then use a connector. There are a bajillion connectors out there for $7 per month that you can then just connect and use your AI of choice, like a Claude, a ChatGPT, doesn't matter, and connect that in using the MCP functionalities. That's it. That's all you have to do. It's really straightforward, and you can get to an answer eventually. The problem you'll run into is that a lot of the times this is very slow because it has to run through all the different tools on every question that you ask. It's the same problem with a lot of the bigger teams as well, like the triple whales, where you're having a one-size system that is built for everyone to use, where you could ask any question and it goes for it. So it has to run through all the different tools of listing out tables and databases and then figuring out exactly what question you're trying to answer. Again, it is very cool. It is very cool to see done in front of your eyes, but it becomes very problematic because you have one platform that you now have multiple teams that are trying to access data at once, and it can become a problem over time. Also, what happens is if you have other types of businesses, we have a lot of teams that run different types of systems. We work with CE providers. Those CE providers have courses and they have a logistics and they also have a compliance they have to be within tolerance of. So how do you handle that? So here's option number 2. This is what I'd recommend for the majority of people, where you have the raw platform data. You then put that into a warehouse raw. So you have all the raw data wherever you need to. You then have clean data where you run some SQL, maybe some light cleanup. You get some externalities out of the way. You create tables that are based off of the granularity that you need. So maybe you have orders tables, or you have refund tables, or you have consumption tables. All of those are meant to help speed up the insight to action timeline. We then have 4 different ways that we want to connect things in. The first one is going to be around reporting UI. So this is where you use some sort of staging tables to create visualizations. Teams really like to use the kind of lookers, the data studios, the amplitudes, you name it, mixed panels, you name it, where you are connecting to your raw underlying data. There's a lot of problems there. I'm not going to dive into it, but that's one function that you're going to have to do. The next is the chat UI, right? This is where you have a user interface where you're chatting, whether you connect via an MCP to these warehouses that are both clean and raw, or you have other systems that you want to at play. The next is the MCP open. That's kind of where you are going to connect your MCP to your organization and allow your organization to have their own authentication to connect to that system. Lastly is going to be alerting. How do you alert, whether that's through an AI system or that's through some other methodology? You're going to have to figure that out. So now that I've outlaid the plan, here is how it looks in application. So here is some staging data that is extrapolated from Vision Labs, our website. This is exactly what I'm talking about right now. So if I click on this now brings up some new UIs. So we are now on that phase 1. We have UI that has been built via an AI, that AI UI. So that now we are moving really quick. Our team has spent, 20 minutes to build out this entire reporting system for my demo video here. So here you can see we have the system of sources and mediums tied to our landing pages. So you can see here really quickly how things are working. And we can clean that up very fast, right? We have dates, all the things you'd ever want, sources, mediums, devices. If I want to say, hey, what's it look like on mobile? I can simply click on that. It now reloads the data. It is just a very straightforward system that works. Those filters, they applied, right? Here we go, bada bing, bada boom. You can see how that works. All right, so now there's the next piece around chat UI. This is where you're going to have to figure out how do you want a chat to work. Hey, quick interruption. If you have any interest at all about what I'm speaking about right now, go to visionlabs.com/contact. We are here to help. We have teams large and small in every which way, building and growing using AI systems to grow their brands. And I would personally love to shepherd you into the future. So how we have decided to do this is that the chat works with the data that is in front of you. So each dashboard has the chat enabled on the side to allow you to chat with the data that is fueling the dashboard. If I ask a question about the velocity of return, that has nothing to do with this page. It's not going to answer that question for me because it doesn't want to. It doesn't have access to those tables that are fueling this page. So we now have a connection here to bridge where the chat on the right side is fueled by the data in the center. Again, there's top trends, key metrics, raw data, etc. that is fueled by this. One massive problem that people don't seem to understand enough is that you have to define things very, very well. For example, how do we define a session? That is why we've created this metrics term in the middle, is where you can add in a target and say, hey, a session is this. And we want to define that as any one within 2 hours site. All right, there's the idea. So now when I ask AI, hey, how many sessions were on the landing pages, it can then go to that raw data table and figure out from there where it is, or the summarized tables that allows you to then quickly return a response. One thing to really think about, this is something that our team is starting to enable more and more, is the idea of documentation. We load in these docs for our clients because there is so much internal strategy around an organization to enable them to access and understand the data that when you are using an AI, it's remarkably helpful to have an understanding of what type of business you're running that's global, not based on individual nodes, as well as the ability to have an understanding of what is possible and what you're trying to achieve, right? That combination here of metrics, right? Here's some metrics here, as well as documentation allows AI to access your databases much more quickly, efficiently, and understand and get the right result on the first try. So then you have the idea of alerts. Alerts are unsexy, I promise you. So this is where you can have something where it's really straightforward. We've chosen to go the sentence approach because the majority of people understand this, but we can always have where you can say, hey, write a query that does not return yesterday's total and check that against what we are looking for. This is something that we are building out and consistently iterating is how do we want to use AI to proactively monitor reporting and access and things like that. And so this is where it's really cool because we can access this via the MCP and then build out alerts and monitoring from there. So every hour I want to then target a specific SQL metric when it rises above a certain number. And we can basically use that down here via the actual query assistant. So that's the other way of that you can actually access this. And the last idea is the MCP. So here is an example that I just wanted to pull up. I made this really quickly. I didn't spare you. The idea is where this actual MCP inaccessible via Claude is pulling the same underlying data from the actual reporting system. So this is the same data pulled in from the reporting system, accessible here via Claude. So I can chat with this, I can have it build a new dashboard, adjust how it's being viewed, but that is where it is remarkably helpful because it says, hey, you can now view this data however you'd like to. You can now use it for whatever purpose you would like, and you can explore it on your own terms without questioning whether or not the underlying data is wrong or right or within any type of maybe outliers here or there, and the team can monitor it because your internal organization is able to see who's chatting with it when, who's accessing what via the MCP, and is the data right? So this is just a really oversimplified example of, hey, here's how you can access it. There's a really simple way or the more complex way that allows more safety, more iterations, and also more different types of data. We've gone this way. We have helped clients implement the system that I just showed you across the board. So if you are interested in that, just feel free to reach out. You can find us visionlabs.com. It is something that we are constantly iterating on. I'm not going to say, hey, this is the polished product. It is now 100% done because it will always be iterating. If anything we've learned in 2026 is that speed matters a lot. So if you have any questions at all, just reach out.